Welcome to Modern Homestead, Alaska. I am Jessica, and we are having the coldest spring on record. And if you look out here, the lake behind our house, it is still frozen. It is now just starting to defrost around the lake a little bit. Yeah, I want to talk about that with you guys today. Let's get into the video. So you have to ignore the noise a little bit. There's an excavator running right there at that neighbor's, and then this one is building a pole barn. He's 2 lots over, but so I have excavators running on both sides of me today. However, Alaska has these tiny little frogs, and in the early spring, or whenever the water defrosts, they start coming alive because they freeze solid. So I've been told by everyone that you can actually find them, put them in your freezer, freeze solid. When they defrost, they come out, they breed, and they make new little baby frogs. And the first time Aaron and I were here in the month of May in Alaska, we had come to do some cleanup at the house for the next contractor, if you will. And we were here over the Mother's Day weekend, and we thought it was a bird. The whole time we're like, there's a bird like nesting down there or something. It's not, it's these tiny little frogs. And I can see them kind of in the water. They're making like little ripples. And when I brought you down here, they were making their noise. However, between the dogs and the excavators and everything, they have been quiet. So I'm just gonna hang out for a few minutes and see if I can't find one and then show you the noise that they make. All right, by the end of this video, I will try and come down here and film. Layla keeps hearing them. Layla is Wyatt's, it's an Alaska Malamute, so she's not actually a husky, but we might call her a husky sometimes on the videos. So she is just a puppy. She was born in November and she is huge, but she keeps hearing them and coming down here and looking around. So the dogs are not helping this situation at all, but I will try and get them filmed for you guys before the end of this video, because I just think it's like really kind of a cool thing to find, and something that is definitely interesting when you live on the lake. All of the life that is brought to your home and your property, it is so great. However, part of the problem is it being frozen. There should be all kinds of ducks on the lake right now, making nests, having babies, doing all of that, and they have no place to land other than the ice. So they're kind of like diving into these little spots. Well, this little spot right here that our dogs can get to is not the safest place for them to come in and land, because our dog is a bird dog. It is in his nature to go after them, and then Layla seems to want to chase them off as well. So we love to see them, but normally they put their nests like on that side over there where the dogs can't get to them, but it's wonderful when they're paddling by and seeing them. All the years that we've lived here, and then our neighbors over here have lived here because they're original homesteaders. This lake has never not been fully defrosted by now in the whole history that they have been on this property, and this property was actually awarded through the Homestead Act. So with all that said, that just kind of tells you how cold it is, which is why we're going to do what we're going to do in this video with the greenhouses and the garden. I have to artificially bring the temperature up. If you can imagine living this close, the wind comes across. This is a giant ice cube that is cooling the property and then also keeping temperatures extremely low for us, whereas other little pockets are a bit warmer. You can just literally drive down the road and it starts raising temperature when you get off of our homestead. That is because I have a giant ice cube that is helping keep everything cool, and then when it is dried out someplace, when it's 50 degrees out, it starts raising temperature. So with that said, let's head up to the garden, and I will try and like maybe sneak a camera down here and just let it run, keep the dogs up there, and let the little frogs go off here in a little bit. Well, we're in here in the very beautiful yet messy Alaskan garden. And I do have all the hope in the world that this is going to end up just incredibly beautiful. I have re-sketched what I want to do in this garden about 18 times, where I want to plant everything and how I want the rows to go this year and the design and the whole 9 yards. And I haven't settled on anything yet. However, last year we were being told it was inevitable that at any given moment the volcano nearest us was going to erupt. The last time that erupted was actually not too terribly long ago. In fact, our neighbors were here and they remember it. It took all the paint off of all of the vehicles. It is a whole big ordeal. And Anchorage was setting out these emergency response trailers all throughout the city to give out masks and goggles and all of this different PPE for when the eruption happened. So in order to prepare for that, because the ash that comes out of a volcano is like glass, it just eats through everything, and it isn't the same as using like the ash from your wood burning stove to add a little bit of that to your garden every year, those sort of things. It was going to be a different thing altogether. So in order to prepare for that, we covered the garden with a heavy black plastic, which is literally just sitting inside of the greenhouse because it can be reused. Well, it is so cold still, the ground is so cold still that nothing is coming up. And in fact, in our 7 to 10 day forecast, we don't have a 60-degree day coming. So with that said, if you know anything about gardening, the plants need to be going into ground that's about 60 degrees, unless it's something like a sweet pea that enjoys things a little bit cooler. However, with that said, I do think if I get this cleaned up, I bring that black plastic in here, it is going to artificially bring the sun or saturate the sun into my soil, and we can maybe raise the temperature of the garden soil just a bit in hopes of being able to actually plant out the last week of the month. So with all of that said and explained, what I'm going to do is go through here and just totally clean this up with you today, and then get some black plastic out. I'm not going to cover we will not be covering the garlic, which is underneath here, because we do still need the sun penetrating and we don't want it killing off any vegetation that is underneath the straw here. And of course, our raspberries already covered in little bitty buds. There's new raspberry. The next year's raspberries are starting to pop up out of the ground. We have given them a good compost covering, and we're going to leave those because they're happy with the temperatures that we have. This will not be the ultimate design of this year's garden because I like to change it every year. However, with all that said, I do need to do some cleanup. And then the other thing we're gonna get to today is I'm gonna move these pots into the greenhouse. We're gonna get the plastic up over the greenhouse. I got the heaters for it. That's gonna be a whole project in and of itself. But the first thing to do is to totally clean up this garden. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. So I think I'm just gonna start over here. These were sweet peas last year. And then any grass or anything growing, I am just gonna pull it up by the root. And then once it's under the plastic is gonna help kill that off. And then we will stir all of this together, no big deal. So I do wanna grab all the plastic. I am gonna end up taking these two things down because I'm gonna change where we're trellising this year. So let's just start with the first row and work our way through. But would you look at that? Unintentionally, someone is home from work super early. This never happens, but he had a job in our town today and had, instead of going all the way back to Anchorage, it is like late for normal people. It's not late for normal people. It's like a normal time. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Aaron is home. He is never home before 8 o'clock at night. So with that said, he is gonna start cleaning up over here while I work my little heart away in the garden. I'm so happy to have a helper cleaning this disaster up. You guys, I can't even open that gate right there. We are doing, if you're new around here and this is your first time tuning in, a massive landscape project because our property had never done the dirt work so that it slopes properly away from the house. We're going to build a shop. All of it has to be cleared and it's all getting done. So my big burly man is home. Him and I are gonna walk something really quick before he gets to work, and then I'll be back to clean up the garden and doing this video because I cannot help him run a skid steer. So I got all the beds cleaned up, all the weeds pulled. I just try and super stay on top of that. And by super staying on top of it and having super healthy organic soil, I don't have a lot of weed pressure or issues. But this bed, which was the brassicas last year, there was a lot of additional weeds there in comparison to the rest. And the reason is there's more there is because they kind of overshadow all of it and I can't see underneath to the soil to deal with them. So all in all, there isn't too terribly much. So now I am going to move all of these pots into the greenhouse in order to start getting ready to plant them out. Because if I can heat up the greenhouses enough to harden off all of the plants, I will be able to start planting these out. I did order a soil temperature. We will use it in the greenhouse first and then we'll use it in the garden, but I'm about ready to be able to cover it over. So the plan from here is I actually mow the walkways and I just kind of like super break up anything that is left here, whether that's leaves or grasses or the hays or any of the leftover like twigs and stuff that were part of the garden last season. And then we just stir it all together and that is about all. So yes, so it is about ready for me to cover it with plastic. I do want to clean up all those garden bags over there, finish that last section, and then I want to just grab all of this out of here. So we're gonna work on that now. Okay, I have the garden totally ready for the next phase. Didn't she shed out so pretty? Tell the people you're just yelling at me. Oh, look at your belly. You look so beautiful, Peaches. Is Daddy about to give you a hay bell? Go yell at him. Oh, you know I'm the woman with the snacks. All right, let's go take a look. Da, 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 da. No weeds. All right, I'm gonna pull this plastic and only, like I said, only cover this and try and get the soil temperature up. I'm gonna run in and get the thermometer and let's find out where we're starting and where we end up before we plant out. Change of plans with Aaron and Wyatt here helping. This project is so huge out there and I cannot do the things that they can do with these machines, but they need my help for just a few minutes. But I think Aaron's gonna come over here with Wyatt, help me pull the top over this, and then they're just gonna leave it and I'll deal with all of this tomorrow and I'll cover the garden tomorrow. I do want to run in and grab that soil thermometer and leave it in overnight, and you and I can come out and see what the temperature in all of these things are. And I want to check the pots. And then I have a plan, like I said before, to try and heat up this one greenhouse. I got 2 little heaters. Last year I had 1 little heater, now I have 2. I should be able to keep this warm enough during the evening to move all the seeds out here and start hardening them off if it goes as planned. However, I cannot lift this tarp over the greenhouse by myself. So I do need their help for that, and then they need my help over there. So if they are coming over here to help me, I'll film that and then I will go and help them, and that's going to be in it like a compilation, like total video of everything. I've been just time-lapsing this entire project that they have been doing. It is so big, it's overwhelming, but I think it'll be really exciting to watch it in the end all come together, how it's gonna come together. And I'm a little relieved today, I'm not gonna lie. I know that I'm chatting away. I'm a little relieved because it just looks so much cleaner over there. I'm so much less overwhelmed, like the anxiety is not building up. Whew, okay, we're doing great. We're gonna keep trucking along. So that's where the plastic's at that I gotta pull out for tomorrow. And this, I'll mow the walkways to break all this up, and then it'll all get for the garden, like I said earlier. And the soil temperature is still going down, but it's about 50, which isn't too terribly bad. So I'll check it in the morning, and then we'll see if the plastic is even necessary, because if the soil is going to come up, so the walkways and where the wood chips are going to be much, much cooler than the soil, which is why I blew all the leaves off of the compost and topsoil. So it will absorb a bit more sun. I tried to just choose kind of the center of the garden to get a temperature right here for overnight. And then I'll see what the pots are at later, because the pots will heat up much quicker because of that dark base and the sun kind of heating on those roots. So those will be all right, but if the soil temperature is 50, we still need it to come up about 10 degrees in order to plant out here. And look at what Aaron cleaned up for me. It's not done. There's got to be a bunch of excavating and dozer work done, but oh my gosh, I can walk out here again. I had to trip through all these giant holes and branches and a fallen tree and the whole 9 yards in order to water peaches yesterday, and Mama was not happy about that. So he got this all cleaned up where I can at least walk around the yard, and he did so much in the matter of 4 hours or so out here, and it took me that whole time to just get this far in the garden. And truthfully, I'm very tired. I am exhausted. It has been a long week, but we'll get right back at it tomorrow. All right, friends, we're back at it today, and as you saw yesterday, Aaron and Wyatt helped me get this top over, and now I've got to cinch it down. I also have to get the bars ran, and I will show you on the inside here of this. So there's the bottom bar that runs through it, that is a weight, and then these bars run through that plastic in between each one of those. So I'm going to get that in first and pull that down, and then I'm going to use these to cinch the top down. I'm gonna adjust my camera. If you can see right there, that one is the front door. Those we left on, and then I'm gonna get the other sides tied down. So I kept all of it super organized over winter in this thing. And then what these things do is we're able to roll up the bottom half for airflow, and I will get those tied in as well so that when we're ready, we can get some airflow going out here. I'm pulling it as tight as I can, and then I'm gonna run this string or this cord through. I went ahead and kind of tightened it on the other side because these just run up and through the greenhouse ends, and if you pull on them, they will come out. And we had that happen with the Shelter Logic, which is the same brand as the greenhouses. So these are Shelter Logic. I got them off of Amazon. I'll leave a link if you're interested. But it took us like forever to figure out how to like attach a wire through, and that building's way bigger. So down here, if you can see, you probably can't, so the grass is in the way. There's the bottom of the leg. I just hook it in and I pull it as tight as I can, and then start ratcheting it. There we go. And I'm gonna just tighten this other side, and look at That has tightened it right up. Hi, Miss Peaches. Okay, just tightened it right up. So it's tight. Now we're gonna do one more ratchet on this other end. This is what Aaron was talking about yesterday. One of the bars is bent, but this bar just holds the weight of the air flap down, so no big deal. And then these holes are where those bungees go to pull the air up for airflow. Right now, it being the coldest winter or coldest spring on record, we don't need airflow yet. We don't need airflow yet. So, let me find one more ratchet. I did the same there. I kind of have it, but I want to yank it as hard as I can on the top. Oh, that's nice. It's pretty tight. So this bar, just shove it back in and through. Then through the ratchet, up, and then right here. Oh, I'm sure that pot's in the way. Right here. This where. There we go. And there we have it. This greenhouse is completely put back together. I'm so glad we did it the way that we did it. And now I want to deal with some mold and mildew and get it washed really well. Only because it's sat in the water, the snow, the rain, and we have never actually washed the greenhouse, and this will be the third summer of using them. So I do recommend them. They've held up really well. I need something a little more substantial up here in Alaska, but I think someplace else that gets a little warmer than us, they would be fantastic. And if you don't get snow load on you like we do that would collapse these, you wouldn't have to do as much work as we do. So that would be probably a pretty good thing for Minnie. So I was just in here cleaning up the pots, getting them out of the way, because we're gonna deal with washing the mold, mildew, anything that might be on the sides. And we have 0 chance of rain in like the 10-day forecast. So the weather app says, and our biggest joke around here is all it does is lie to us. If you can hear that, it is raining. So of course it is, naturally, of course. It would make no sense if it wasn't. So, all right, I'm gonna drag the hose over here, because here's what we're gonna do. I went and got one of these little $13 sprayers. I have this mold and multi-purpose pressure washer. I don't have a pressure washer, so what I'm gonna do is mix it with some water in this pump sprayer here that I have, and then I am going to spray it down, and then we're just going to use the hose and rinse it. This was something that when I read it, now I'm not guaranteeing, and I don't have anything growing around it, it just said water the plants before you do it, so you're not killing them. Well, I don't have anything in here to kill, although I may cover the pots with some plastic so that it's not getting into the soil. And then with most chemicals, what should happen, like, did you know, if you wipe your counters down with bleach, once that bleach dries, it's no longer active. It's not working. It's not killing any bacteria. It doesn't just stay on the countertop forever. Once it dries, it evaporates, it's gone. No more power left in that. It's not the same as like dried chlorine tablets, which are dry. So you get the point. So my hope is with this, once the greenhouse dries, it is not an active material. However, look at where plants have pushed up against it and so on. And we just want a really nice, clean, aesthetically pleasing, beautiful environment. By all means, you could leave it, but all of this was pushed on the ground. And then I even grew tomatoes and stuff so high last year that they were touching the roof of this greenhouse. So let me grab the hose, because once I get that sprayed onto the greenhouse, I want to wash it off of it. All right, so I am going to just super dilute this and do just the best that we can. These are the 1 gallon HDX multi-purpose pump sprayers, indoor outdoor. I grabbed 2 of these, one so I could do like a soluble fertilizer this summer, and then this one, which I will mark this one in the garage as having a chemical in it. And so what I'm going to do is fill it to this line, because I need to leave a bit of space in order for the air. And then and then I assembled it. Top goes in. That down. Shut it out. I am just so happy with how it turned out. It's not perfect. Like I said, it's our 3rd year. There is some stains and things like that from growing in here. And Alaska is hard. That is one of the things Aaron and I never quite understood until living here. The winters are very, very hard on things. So you see how houses constantly have to be repainted and places seem like dilapidated very, very quickly. That is just par for the course up here. So I brought something out to see the temperature inside here. It was 70 degrees inside my house, and I am hot inside of the greenhouse, which is what I was hoping for, because I'd love to get all the seed starts out here. And then I have these little heaters here. Okay, these are the, so last year we had one short out. However, it did last for the season. It did fine. I think they're like 20 bucks. Oh, I forgot that you have to assemble it. That's okay. Some assembly required. I just get these up. Oh, and it's screws. I remember now. I know what I'm doing. Okay. I have 2 of them because of the fact we're not even calling, pardon me, for a 60-degree day in the upcoming forecast. So with that said, bringing everything outside, so we can start hardening it off and yada, yada, yada. We need things to make sure that we can keep it nice and warm in the greenhouse here. So this is the adjustable little leg, so you can aim it down or up. And I was gonna tell you, power is 1500 watts, current is 13.6A, required fuse 15A, switch power settings 750W, 1500W, size of heater, and so on. So if that tells you like how much power it will draw. And then we have a big fat extension cord coming out here that will handle this. I am, however, going to put it up on like a bucket or something in order to keep it off of the ground, because I don't actually want it getting wet. However, this little heater here is made to go outside. So all you do is screw these in. When you tighten them down, you can get the little heater to stay at whatever angle you want. So that's all I'm doing here. I can hear all my little neighbor kids out riding bikes. It got sunny and warm all of a sudden. Oh, it's raising. That's why I'm warm. It's hotter in the greenhouse than it is in my house. So that is great news for seed starts. Okay. Alright, so that goes like that. And then, or it can face back. Maybe it's supposed to face back. I'll do the other one. So this one just has fan, so you can just use it as a way to move air around, on, off, low, and high temperature. I'm gonna get the other one set up and we'll put them in the greenhouse. I put those legs on backwards on the first one. I'll just easily swap them around, but should have just looked at the simple picture there. Okay, I can only run one. I still have heat going into the chicken coop for the baby chicks. So with that said, I've got to talk to Aaron. He said that I can run 2 of them. Now, what he might have meant is our outlets on the outside of the house are all on different breakers. What he might have meant is that I've got to run it on 2 separate outlets and breakers. I don't know. I just gotta ask him. But I know that there's gonna be some way, and the temperature is super fluctuating. So now it's less than 70 in here. We have the little heater going. I need it about 60, 65 degrees and to chill out around there and keep it up in that in order to bring the seeds out here. Then what I'll do during the day, which I think I've already mentioned this, I will roll up the sides, open the window and the door, and let all of the cool air come across the plants. The wind may move a fan out here just to get them in the wind a little bit, and we'll start doing that in order to harden them off, and then I'll end up moving them outside. What will be fantastic is if I can take soil temperature in these pots here, and if they are warm enough, I can actually start planting them out. And then when it's time, we can roll them out to the spots in the garden that they are going to go, or the landscape, if you will. Whew, I'd really love to start getting them growing out, even if we can't necessarily get them actually out in the yard just yet. We're still 2 weeks out, but with that giant iceberg in our yard, our house already, the way that it sits, and where our garden is if you just leave it and go around the lake, it often is up like 6 degrees or more just on the other side of the lake. And it kind of is something like when you're in town and you're walking across a parking lot, you know, and there's no iceberg blowing across it, the temperature is hotter in town, in the city, whatever, than it is necessarily where we are at. So with all that said, the way my homestead sits is I do fight cooler temperatures for a little longer than even some place that is just the other side of the lake where there's no cold water or anything like that blowing across it. So anyway, with all of that, we at least have the heater going. I'm going to close this down. I have the thermometer out here to see where we end up going with that, and now it's all watertight, it's clean. I am so happy with how this has been. So I think I'm going to move the plastic over the garden. I'll take you there now and show you why I tried to get away with not doing it, but what I'm thinking and why we're still going to go ahead and do the black plastic. All right, so we put the soil thermometer in yesterday, and I have checked it all day. And let's have a look. It is not even 50 degrees. So with that said, using the black plastic will bring up the soil temperature between 5 and 15 degrees. So I am gonna get it just coming up, and then also I have this extension cord now running across the garden. I'll be able to move it however I want later, but I thought, oh great, I'll just have it under the plastic and it should kind of protect it a little bit. I did use some like waterproof tape on the parts where I connected, just to keep everything out of it. I've never had an issue. I ran one, like I said, all last summer. However, with that, I do think that the black plastic. So let's get to that. I'm gonna move this into the greenhouse and I'm gonna just check and see what temperature those pots are at. So there we have it, friends. I will come out in about a week and check the soil temperatures underneath, see if Aaron will get it tilled and laid out. Generally, he does all of that. We till it, we mow all of the hay and the grasses and everything, to just chop it up super small and get it mixed in to the garden. It will turn into compost eventually. We've done that every single year without any problems whatsoever. And I don't mix the big fat wood chips that I'm standing on right now. I don't mix those in. This walkway here and kind of the entrance there and that walkway there, they're big fat wood chips with cardboard underneath them, and they are just a permanent walking path for me. However, the centers of the lanes have been everything from straw to leaf and very small wood chips, like wood shavings, and the wood shavings have completely broke down over the year, and so now at this point they're not going to be starving any nitrogen from the soil. They'll just give it back because they've broke down and they're ready to go. So that is really good. I did not cover the garlic. I just don't know what would happen. We did cover it for the, did we not? I don't remember. I don't remember whether we covered that or not for the volcano. But with that said, I didn't cover it because it's about 50 degrees in the soil. I think it's going to be just fine, is the point that I was getting to. Greenhouse is completely done. Garden is covered. We have a massive load of plants inside that need to get moved out. I just got to check the temperature way early in the morning and then later tonight. 17 plus hours of daylight is what we are at. So it doesn't really set. However, it isn't really heating up like it should. So that is not great, but I will go ahead and check the greenhouse. But when I went in there just a minute ago to grab something, maybe it was even my drink, it was like 80 degrees with that heater going. So we also don't want it that warm either. So I just need to keep an eye on it for a minute before I put all of the plants outside. With that said, thank you for joining me today. I'm excited about where we're going and what we've gotten done. Can you hear the frogs? Every time I walk down there, I keep trying to get a video of it. Every time I walk down there, they quit. So I'll keep trying to get a video of that. So with that, thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for supporting the channel, joining along, following along, and showing up day after day, week after week, and being part of everything that we're doing here. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, you'll get notification, thumbs up, and comments. All help our channel to grow. So with that, I hope you have the most beautiful week ahead of you. Happy Saturday. I tried to do a Thursday video. It didn't get out in time. So happy Saturday to all of you, and enjoy your family this weekend, or a friend, a coffee, a tea, whatever it is, and be blessed. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.